Hello everybody, my name is Beefman101 and welcome back to Buried. Now, I'm not quite sure if Chapter 5 is the last chapter. All I know is we finished Chapter 4 last time, and we're going to Chapter 5. From what I've seen, a lot of people have been doing 5-part Let's Plays on this game. So I honestly can't tell you whether or not it is a 5-part Let's Play for us, or if it depends on how you're going through the story at your own pace. But nevertheless, we're going to begin Chapter 5. Ooh, where the hell are we? We are now inside a large, reinforced chamber of sorts, almost like the inside of a submarine. Near us is the door, shut tight. Far away from us, along the back wall, are all sorts of controls and monitors. It seems very clear that this is a metal door. This metal door is impenetrable. At least to them. I'm fairly sure that they aren't getting in. Dennis looks like a walking corpse, and I do everything in my power to not let this show in my expression. His face is in a grimace. He shouts out to me. To hell with you. What are you thinking? Blood pools on the floor wherever he holds his arms. I say nothing. It's all too much. My brain feels like jelly. We just need to get him some help, or he's going to bleed to death, Amy says. We are interrupted by a man's voice booming behind us. Just what in the hell do you think you're doing? The man roars. He's an older man who seems to exude power and authority, but he also looks tired and scared. I assume this is Barksdale. He walks over to us from the back recess of the chamber. We didn't have a choice, Amy responds. We had to. Did you override the locks on the hangar door? Barksdale demands. Yes, I did, but we had to. Do you have any idea what you have just done? Amy doesn't answer right away. She is furious, but she is also scared and visibly exhausted. If Amy's not going to answer, I'm going to ask a question. Who is this? I address the question to Amy, preferring to get my info from her rather from whoever that is. The man doesn't break eye contact with Amy. Colonel Barksdale. He runs the place, she says, annoyed. Look, Barksdale, she says. You can berate me and lecture me all you want, but when this mess is over, right now, I have a wounded civilian here. And as you can see, several entities are trying to get into this room. So if you could actually do something instead of sitting on your throne and yelling at me, that would be great. I am impressed by your guts and wonder if there's some sort of beef between the two of them. Beef man, so okay, yeah. Surely working in a place like this could cause some stress and tension between people. As we wait, I notice a peephole in the door. I go to it. I look out to the things, see if they're still looking for a way in, but finding no success. I wonder if they can still sense, somehow, to see me through the door. We can flip them off, or we can do nothing. Flip them off, nothing. I'm gonna flip them off, because that's the person I am, and I doubt they would know what that is. I can't help myself. I hold up the middle finger to one and smile indefinitely. I get a blast a high-pitched sound in response. Wait, so it knows? You'd be primated for speaking to me in such a way, Barksdale says to Amy. Reprimand me all you want. I'd like to survive this first. Cover your eyes, Barksdale shouts, walking away towards the far end of the room. Stay put until you hear back from me. Thank you, Amy says, with a fire in her voice. Then she turns to me and says, better do what the man says. Cover her ears, yep. We gotta do that, just in case. I got my hands over my ears just in time to protect my hearing from a deafening blast. I am still bleeding, and the sudden movement to cover my ears makes me feel dizzy. Dennis clumsily covers one ear with his hand, and another ear to his bandaged arm. When I see what shape he's in, I get myself in check. Compared to Dennis, I'm in tip-top shape. I did that. I took the shot that took his hand off. I knew to make all of that mean something. More bursts of loud explosive noise start ringing out. Looking through the people again, I see the core of one beast explode. It vanishes in a puff of smoke, and clear liquid. Looking to my left, I see Barksdale in a shooting stance at the far side of the room. He's firing through a small slit in the wall. He's using some high-powered weapon, the likes of which I've never seen. I see a slight movement as the gun kicks, accompanied by a flicker of white light. Immediately, another monster is drowned, its tentacles flailing around aimlessly with most of its core is torn through. I instantly feel gratitude and immense satisfaction in knowing that they are being picked off in such a way. Continue watching, sit down and rest. I need to rest. That's my best guess. I slide down against the door and simply wait, listening to the occasional patter of what I assume is their blood on the wall. I don't know how much time passes by, maybe 5 seconds, maybe 5 minutes, and I don't care. It feels nice to lay down. When the firing is over, I barely even notice it. Soon after, Barksdale walks back to our side of the room. "They're all gone," Barksdale says, and I have resealed the hangar doors. How do you kill them like that, I asked. Classified weapons that, quite frankly, you have no business being near. Amy gets to her feet and returns to the panel on the wall. "Thanks. How badly are the civilians hurt?" Barksdale says. "One is in very bad shape," she says. "He's lost a hand and a lot of blood. The other is not too bad. I see a laceration on his back and that's about it." "Okay, I'll have Strickland get a medkit." "Strickland survived?" Amy asked, sounding cheerful. "Yes, and until you and your friend showed up, I thought we were the only ones. Hang tight, she's on her way." With that said, he retreats away into the back room, as if he can't stand to be around us. Amy approaches me and looks over. "You're in good hands. Strickland will be able to fix you up. She's a doctor or something." Sort of. She's also a physicist. But oddly enough, she spent time as a trauma nurse in the army. "Is Strickland a friend of yours?" I asked. Amy chuckles. Okay, yeah. We've known each other for a while. The only women in a sea of overachieving men. Okay, Barksdale sounds like a great. We must be glad to. Let's talk about Barksdale for a second. "That's because he is," Amy says. Because he runs the place. Because he runs the place. So he sort of has a right. Yeah. Washington or a facility buried under the woods of Kentucky, gender roles stay the same," she says, rolling her eyes. Within a few seconds, the door behind us opens and a woman appears from further back in the chamber. She enters the room with what looks like a small suitcase. She's dressed in a very basic and drab military getup, complete with a holstered sidearm. "My name is Connie Strickland," she says. "I can patch you guys up pretty well, but it's going to hurt." She looks closely at Dennis, looking over at him with precise care and attention. "You're not in the best shape." He responds in a grunt. "Seriously, I can fix you up, but only temporarily. You need intense care for that arm. First things first, though." Strickland pours liquid over his maimed arm and starts stitching. Then she wraps his arm in 3 entire spools of gauze. Blood shows through right away. "That's the best I can do for now," she says, giving him a sympathetic frown. "I could care less," Dennis mutters. "I'm a cripple. Do whatever you want, as though it matters." Strickland then looks at me. "Sit down, and let's see if we can get your shirt off," she says. I sit down slowly and start unbuttoning my shirt. She has to help me slip it off my shoulders, but we manage. "How bad is it?" I ask. "Bad," she answers. "It's almost like a burn, but I've seen much worse. Your friend here, for example." I might as well talk to Strickland, if only to distract from the pain. "So, what's your story, or you're a scientist too?" I'm asked what her story is. Strickland rolls her eyes as she gathers up a needle and some thread. "I was always into fringe science. I started in labs where these eccentric Russian scientists were being funded by the US to work on combining DNA types. I sort of became obsessed with perfecting the human physiology while I was a trauma nurse in the army." "You were a mad scientist too," I say. I get that a lot, but no, not compared to the stuff we do here." "What kind of stuff?" Or I don't even want to know. I'm going to ask what kind of stuff, because I'm very curious. It's complicated. Komar masses, quantum gravity, crunching things down to their swastistic radiuses. Fun stuff. Yeah. A mad scientist, I say, trying to keep myself calm with dry humor. There are lots of small labs working on the same stuff, she argues. They just don't have our funding. When you guys ran in here, she said, I was horrified. Those barrels outside. I'm not sure if you saw them well. If you'd shot them. If it could have been bad. Why, I say. The grey ones are filled with experimental fuel that is highly flammable. The yellow ones contain liquid nitrogen. What? I asked. Just lying around? Well, this area is the safest in the building. The most secure. It used to be anyway. And take this, she says, handing me 4 pills. Painkillers. They won't work immediately, but they'll dull the worst of what you're feeling. Are these the best idea, I asked? One that make me feel dizzy or out of sorts or something? All I get in response is an annoyed and determined look. Taking the painkillers. Scientists know best. You took the painkillers. I swallow the pills as she starts working on me. She slathers the wound in some kind of liquid that some kind of liquid that stings like crazy, and I gasp. Grin and bear it. It's be your man. Ready to stab me yet? Strickland asked. I'm fine, I hiss. I grit my teeth in pain and try to catch my breath. Dennis continues out of haziness and tries to speak to Strickland, but his words are slurred. White light from the ground, Dennis says. You think that caused the power outage? Think that brought the monsters out? Could be, Strickland says. But your crew was far enough away from the facility, or at least we thought you were. Dennis chuckles in a way that makes him sound menacing. Nope. Wrong. You thought wrong. So, you and Barksdale are the only survivors? Amy asks. It seems that way. Those didn't disappear into thin air, but were killed by those things, Strickland says, nodding to the secured door. How many were killed? I'm guessing 30 or so, Strickland says. I'm not sure how many were scheduled to come in today. I'm glad to see you. Whoa. Where were you when it happened, Amy asked. I was in the micro lab on level 2, Strickland replies. Park and O'Brien were in there with me, and they just disappeared. It looked like they were being stretched, distorted, and then there was a ball of white light, and they were gone. The ball of light just annihilated everything it touched. Would it leave a perfectly round hole, I asked, a light bulb turning onto my head? We saw some of those at the locking site. Yeah, I saw a ball of white light too, Dennis chimes in. That was probably the same phenomenon, Strickland replies. Amy looks at the ground like a child that is afraid to ask an adult for something. Finally, she asks, where did they go? We don't know, Strickland says. It could be an infinite number of different dimensions, or even some dimensions that merge and mix together. It could also be a place that exists between dimensions. Barksdale calls it the Void. How is that possible? I call it dead. See, the humor in me wants to take this one, but the scientist in me wants to know how it's possible. We don't know that yet, Strickland says. Our understanding of space-time is evolving, especially when you start warping it, like we've been doing, Amy adds. That point seems to be the end of the conversation as both women fall quiet. I wince through the rest of Strickland's stitching, feeling the tug of skin, but thankfully no more flowing blood. Finally, Strickland says, you're good to go. She looks over at Dennis one more time. He doesn't do much of stir when he rechecks her work. He's already having to remove the gauze on his wrist, as it is soaked through with the blood. The wound looks like it's starting to clot. That's good at least. I stare at the floor as Strickland does what she can. Will he make it, I asked. I'm no doctor, Strickland says. Not really, but based on a bit I do know, I'd say it's about 50-50 right now. So, have you and Barksdale been able to contain all those creatures, Amy asks. Strickland appears shocked, clearly not the reaction Amy was expecting. Contain? Are you nuts? Do you know what's happening? Amy's eyes widen in fearful confusion. What do you mean? What's happening? Other than the initial experiment failure, the anomalies are becoming more numerous and further from the source, Strickland says. The casual humor in her voice is now gone. Further from the source? From the location of the original experiment, she says. The experiment caused the first doorway to open, and it set off a chain reaction. They are gaining momentum along geodesities emanating from the facility. It's in these pockets of exotic matter and negative energy that are letting those in. What the hell does that mean? Dennis asks. It means, Amy chimes in, that those doorways and monsters are starting to appear all over the facility. Maybe even the surface. Not yet, luckily, Strickland says. The doorways will start appearing on the surface and it won't stop there. The anomalies could reach the extent infinity as far as we know. Those entities will appear on the surface in other states, in other countries. Holy shit, I say. You mean the world is going to be overrun? The horror of the past few hours has made me ready to believe anything, but this is almost too much. Unfortunately, yes, Strickland says. My God, Amy says, stepping away. Isn't there anything we can do? It is a last resort, Strickland says, her eyes darting over to Barksdale at the back of the room. There's an emergency failsafe switch. What? Amy says. I've never heard of that. Where? You weren't cleared for it, Strickland replies. And that stitch, Amy says? That switch? Is it a way to stop this? Yes, Strickland says, seeming uneasy with the conversation. What does the switch do? Or why haven't you hit the switch already? That's what the switch does. The switches are eraser, she says. It destroys the entire facility and terminates any system or experiments that are being conducted. It's also an energy shutdown for interdimensional travel and puts event horizon around the facility. What the hell is that? I ask, incredulous. It's the perimeter of a black hole, she replies. The boundary inside which nothing can escape, not even light. But there are two problems with hitting the switch. So the first problem is we'd all be killed. Sucked into the black hole forever, before we'd have time to evacuate. The second reason, she whispers, suddenly quiet, is that Barksdale won't allow it. What? Amy guessed. Why not? He wants all those things to flood the surface. Thousands, millions will die. Strickland puts her hands up, silencing Amy. They both peer over the far side of the room where Barksdale has his back turned. I know. He says he doesn't care. He said he'd be happy to get rid of the oversight so he can continue his work. The oversight? Amy almost screams, regaining control of her voice when Strickland gives her another look of warning. You mean our government? I asked. He's aware this could disrupt, even topple the government. He doesn't care? Strickland sighs. Barksdale is... well, he's off the range right now. He's gone rogue. And he's armed. This comment makes me look towards a shotgun I brought in with me. I'd nearly forgotten it in the last few moments. While Barksdale has his back turned towards us, I take it my hands are slided beneath me. Just in time to, as Barksdale walks over from the back room to our side of the chamber, he gives Strickland a suspicious look before speaking to her. Are the two civilians gonna survive, he asks. Dennis chuckles at this. I'm relieved to see that his eyes are open. He gives a lazy thumbs up. One is stitched up and good to go, but the other is here in bad shape. He needs immediate medical attention. Understood, Barksdale says. Amy is quite nice to see you, that you have survived, he says. Were there any others? The aloof way this asshole is talking about getting under my skin? A guy named Marcus that worked on the first level from IT, she says. That's all I know for sure. Marcus Pabscott, Barksdale says. Where is he? I killed him. He was killed by those things. Okay, so this seems like it's gonna be like a big decision right here. I mean, if he's gone rogue, you tell him that you kill him. My suspicion is that he's gonna come and kill us. So, saying he was killed by the things is a belief in the story. So I'm gonna say that he was killed by the things. You lied about how Marcus was killed. I try not to let my eyes shift and give away the lie. Oh, Barksdale says. I see. Barksdale seems to think about something when then he directly looks at me. You're with the logging crew, aren't you? Remind me, how'd you get in here again? We were trying to get away from here. I fell through the hole. Is what happened, so. Oh, right. We lost our primary power source when the experiment failed. Barksdale says. The experiment failure created those exotic matter pockets, that hole you fell into. And, if there were enough of them, it may have opened a way into our facility, depending on the power sources that were damaged. Barksdale continues. It could also. Wait, where the hell was I? Packers, the hole you fell into. And if there were enough of them, it may have opened a way into our facility, depending on the power sources that were damaged. Barksdale continued, it could have been shut down by the locking systems before backup kicked in. Everything is starting to make sense now. At the very start, it had seemed peculiar that it would have been so easily be able to walk into this place. Was the rest of the crew, or what has caused the experiment to fail? What's caused the experiment to fail? Because that's like the whole thing that happened. Their crew hit one of our main power lines. We weren't exactly sure how, but we know that's all we know. But we know that's what did it. You're trying to blame all this on me? I roared. The timing was unfortunate, Barksdale says. Where is the rest of our crew? So now what? I'm gonna ask where the rest of the crew is, so that's my goal. Your crew, Frank and Joe, they're gone. Gone? Gone where? Dennis asked, his voice trembling. They were annihilated by an antimatter pockets created during the failure. A bright ball of light destroyed them. In the aftermath, all you'd see would be a round hole in the ground. Barksdale says, Barksdale says this like he's sharing yesterday's sports scores. I let my face crumble into my hands. I had suspected this. All this time, they were already dead. Behind me, Dennis lets out the beginning of a sob. Damn it, he mutters over and over. So, Amy says, what do we do now? Now, it's time to continue our work, Barksdale says calmly, turning away to the instruments in the rear wall. Are you insane? Speak my mind. You want to keep your little toys to yourself, I say? My teeth clenched, and you're willing to unleash these monsters on the world to do it? Indeed, Barksdale says. I want to continue my work. Other researchers will eventually discover what we have, sure, but I want it to be me. This is my laboratory, these are my experiments. The work I've laid here will earn my place in history. And quite frankly, I don't need to explain it to you. Up on the surface, they'll struggle to defend themselves, since they won't know what they're dealing with. I have the necessary weapons. After a few months, who knows, maybe I'll decide the entire world is ready for me to help them. And we'll go from there. Strickland steps up directly beside me and whispers into my ear. I wouldn't push him, she says. He's usually very logical, but this whole thing has pushed him somewhere else. He's well off. He turns his back to us and then says, walking to the far side of the chamber, like we were some kind of distraction. Amy takes this opportunity to whisper to us. We need to hit that switch, she says. It's the only option. What he's saying is murder, treason, genocide. She looks over to Strickland for support, trailing off. But Strickland looks over at the ground, clearly torn. She won't look anybody in the eye and makes an effort not to look at Barksdale. He seems distracted with whatever instruments he's studying on the far side of the room. Like, the dream-like quality I experienced earlier is wearing off. Painkillers too seem to be losing their edge. Strickland finally whispers a response. Even if we decide that we want to hit the switch, Barksdale won't allow us to do that. You can figure something out, right? Or to hell with him. To hell with that dude. Amy agrees. Where are the switch located? There's an elevator out in the hangar, Strickland says. It will take it to the basement. The switch is at the end of a long tunnel. But Strickland never finishes. Two things happen at once, she speaks, her mouth stopping mid-sentence. First, a loud booming noise rings out, and then the top of her head seems to explode. Amy screams out in surprise, and Dennis and I jump back in shock as Strickland's body collapses beside me. Her fallen body, Barksdale is holding an experimental rifle, and now he's pointing it at us. What the hell did we just walk into? I'm sorry, but how did he hear that? Wait. One of the only people to survive, Strickland, and whatever his name is, Barksdale. She's telling us that there will be a loud booming noise rings out, and then the top of her head seems to explode. What? I don't know. I don't know how to respond. Same place. I wonder if Barksdale is even crazier than Marcus. They just shot a woman that worked for him to keep her quiet. Surely we won't have an issue killing me. Now, Barksdale yells. No more whispering, no more secrets. You three will stay in here and get away from the door. If anybody whispers one thing, I'll blow your heads off. My mind is racing to figure out a way to get through the secure door and into the hangar. Beyond that, of course, there was a fail-safe switch. Make a distraction, let's just go. Don't insult him, just go. I try my best to be a good actor as I wobble my feet a bit. I start forward again, and then wobble some more. Amy is apparently catching on because she's at my side in a second. She looks over at Barksdale and says, he's lost a lot of blood. Let me check his wounds real quick. After he declared to talk to me like that, he's been through a lot, she argues. He's clearly delusional. Dennis seems to not quite know what's going on, but luckily, Barksdale isn't paying attention to him. You can check him back here, Barksdale says. You have 30 seconds to get away from that door, or I will. I stretch out my acting skills and actually stumble to a knee. I'll make a show of trying to get to my feet and stand for a moment. I'm okay, I say. I'm okay. I think as quickly as I can. I raise my gun and fire. I don't even take aim, I just fire in Barksdale's general direction. Barksdale takes off running as my shot misses wide. He runs for cover back in the back of the room. That's all I need. Amy also fires a shot to keep him under cover. As we head for the door, Amy pushes the button and the door swings open. Barksdale will be on us in a second, so we dash into the hangar ready to defend ourselves. Alright. So this is the hangar again? All three of us run as fast as we can through the rows of barrels. Right away, through Barksdale's gun rifle separates us. I hear a shot hit nearby as I dive down and realize that neither Dennis nor Amy is with me. I hear Amy cry out somewhere else in the barrels. Peering around the barrel close to me, I can see Dennis. He's crawling slowly on the floor, 2 rows away from me. Seeing him move so slow, I can't imagine how he's finding the strength to even do that. Stop this nonsense, Barksdale yells at us. I've got good mind to shoot the fuel and kill all of you. It's then I realize that we're not getting away from these barrels. These barrels may be our death sentence. Tell them to get away. I'm gonna tell them to get away. Before I can do anything, a shot comes to the isolation chamber. It's immediately followed by a ping sound and a massive wall of heat. I feel the heat before I can feel the force of the explosion. It occurs several rows ahead of me, and I still can't feel the physical push of it. I hear Dennis scream, and then the clanging of metal. That's when another barrel explodes, and then another, and I realize I could run back or help. I could try to get myself clear. I might not have enough time to do either before the next round of eruptions. What the hell should I do? Boy, don't put this stuff on me. Obviously I'm gonna go help. Decide to run into the flames to help. My instinct to help overcomes my instinct to survive. If I don't help them now, the exploding barrels will leave Dennis and Amy as good as dead. I turn and start heading their way, but I'm not quick enough. Another barrel blows up between us and throws me back across the hangar floor. My face and arms scream with the unimaginable pain of deep burns as I am lifted from the ground and tossed forward by the explosion. I slowly muscle myself up off the ground and try to regain my footing. My entire body feels sore, begging me to just stop. When I look for Dennis and Amy, the scene is not promising. Neither of them seems to be able to move on their own. Dennis is lying flat on his face, unmoving. Amy is about 20 feet away from him. She is wailing in pain and clutching her leg. Behind them, I see Barksdale looking for a shot through the fire and evaporated liquid nitrogen. I fire off a single shot just to let him duck back down. I look back out to Dennis and Amy, and I see the fire nearing the fuel barrels. I can maybe help Barksdale, pinned down enough to pick him up and one by one, and then help them walk to the elevators. But more barrels could blow at any moment. I might only have time to save one of them. No, I can't do it. Oh my god. He's saying, from what I'm seeing here, I can help my friend crippled Dennis, or I can help Amy. Amy knows the way to get to the basement, and knows more about this place than any of us. Dennis has one hand and is dying on the floor. Is there no leave both option? Oh god. You can disagree with me in the comments all you want, but my choice is to help Amy first. You choose to help Amy first. I take a deep breath and sprint back into the open among the flames and heat. Right away, I start taking blind shots at Barksdale. He fires back only once, and the shot goes off into the growling fire around me. I take one more shot, then reach down for Amy. She's coughing and looks dazed. Her leg has been burnt and scraped badly. Are you okay? I ask. She nods as I help her get to her feet, the fire licking up around us. I help her towards the elevator, narrowly avoiding the fire and a hot death. Somewhere around the smoke, Barksdale shoots into the flames. He gets another shot off as we round the corner to where the elevator waits. Amy leans against the wall, gasping for breath. Drenched in sweat and feeling like I have just escaped the furnace, I know I have to try to get Dennis as well. I wheel around, gun aimed into the smoke, and I head back, only to get a single step before I see Dennis slowly getting to his feet. I open my mouth to call out to him, but another explosion, right beside him, cuts me off. He's engulfed in flames. It's over. I scream and run out for him, but Barksdale is firing at me again. After everything, Dennis is gone. Because of Barksdale, a raving lunatic. I scream at him as hatred and rage rise up in me. I want to rip Barksdale to shreds, no matter the cost. Oh my god. They're giving me such tough decisions. Kill Barksdale. Kill him. Or escape through the elevator. I can't. Why are these so tough? I'm gonna go back after Barksdale. Now, if you want my reasoning on this, my reasoning is as follows. If I don't kill Barksdale now, he's gonna find a way to get us back. he's probably going to kill Amy, knowing the way the story is going. Escape through the elevator allows him to get us back. I'm sorry if I'm sacrificing you, Amy, even though we just lost Dennis, but I'm going to kill Barksdale. I start unloading bullets into Barksdale's direction, like I'm on a warpath. "Barksdale, you son of a bitch!" I scream as I start heading in his direction. I barely hear what sounds like a laugh about to emerge out of him, when I am jerked back behind the cover of the elevator entrance. "He's gone, Roger. I'm sorry. He's gone." Amy pleads as she forces me behind cover. I resist her for a moment and then give in, just as another deafening shot takes out a chunk of concrete a foot over my head. The best way to get back at Barksdale for what he has done is to flip that switch, Amy says. My nerves are drenched in fear and adrenaline. Then I reach out to press the call button on the elevator. It seems like I'm watching someone else do it. As Amy and I step inside, the motors on the elevator squeal like dying dogs. The elevator slides down and the light from the flames gives way to complete blackness. And now it's just me and Amy. Dennis is gone. Continue. Wow. We're in a tunnel again. From like the beginning. I remember this. This is when we first fell in. I lose track of how long the elevator descends. It's hard to tell due to the lack of lighting, but it must go another 500 feet underground. The elevator comes to a stop with a shuddering clank. I waste no time exiting. The tunnel stretches out with the sparse white bulbs lighting the way. Most of the wall is made of raw metal and rock, but there are boards and concrete slathered in areas used to reinforce the tunnel. I see a warning sign posted on the wall. I want to read it, but there's not much time. No, I'm going through the tunnel, because Barksdale's probably right behind us. There's no time to waste. The switch is down the tunnel, and it has to be flipped no matter what. Suddenly, I feel like the effects of the painkillers again. My head starts to feel like a balloon. My balance is off kilter. I look up, and that's when I see the tunnel ceiling is less than 6 inches over my head. Claustrophobia freezes me for a moment. The ceiling is not high at all, and there's barely enough room for Amy and I to walk side by side, which is for the best, because her leg is clearly causing a great deal of pain. She is soaked in blood and hobbling along. "I don't think I can go any further," she says, wincing, but trying to keep her composure. "Sit down," I tell her. "I'll be back." There is no sense in chancing any further, doing any further injury to your leg. She nods. I help her down. She shudders in pain as she eases to a sitting position on the floor. "Thanks," she says. "This switch should be down the end of this hall, if Strickland was right." I looked up, and that's when I see that the tunnel ceiling is less than 6 inches over my head. Oh, I already did this. That's just a repeat. Still, it is much better than facing the monsters above me. I wonder then, walking through the darkness, where they come from. Is the portal still open? It's almost completely dark, and I hold the gun in one hand and reach out to touch the walls with another. Feeling the gun that was in my palm anchors me to reality, to sanity. Am I not in some boundless abyss, but still in the real world? For a little longer, at least. I recognize that I am marching to my end. As much as I wish I weren't, it's not surprising. From the moment that I saw these creatures could do it, time and space, at least this part of me knew that death was inevitable. Before I had time to wonder, what will happen? I see a light ahead. It's nothing more than a speck of blue light, but in the darkness of the tunnel, it's like the lighthouse of a stormy sea. I slog along, my eyes straining to focus on that little light ahead. When somewhere ahead, I start to hear something that sounds like water. It's trickling lightly from like a leaky faucet, and behind that, there's something that sounds like wind. A light breeze through the open field, and a voice. Somewhere else, the sounds would have been pleasant, but here in the blackness of the tunnel, they're menacing. Hello? Stay quiet. I'm staying quiet. This is scary, but I'm staying quiet. I don't make a sound instead, trying to make sense of what's going on around me. I cock my head trying to concentrate, and then I realize that I can see the tunnel walls now. This is odd. I wasn't able to see them a few seconds ago. This is different from the blue light at the end of the tunnel. This is when I see a light shimmering in the air. Looks like a foggy mirror steamed over a shower. and it's moving, dancing in the air, like some abstract firefly. It's not menacing like the creatures, so that the threat is null. It's peaceful, serene. I watch as the shimmer branches out and becomes 2, and then 3, and then 4. They snake out in different directions, tracing the tunnel walls. Are these slimmers the door? Are these shimmers the door to another dimension that Strickland was talking about? Suddenly I'm surrounded by light above and below me, and realize there's no way of avoiding it. The question is, how am I going through? I'm gonna go feet first. Unable to resist, I step forward into the tunnel. The wall should be. When I do, the shimmering light branches out even more, before connecting into a perfect circular form. They're hypnotizing, so much that I don't even realize that the tunnel walls are vanishing. I feel something like wind, a brief electrical pulse pass through me as the lights take me. There's a very gentle pushing sensation, and somehow that I am being expelled. And somehow I know I am being expelled. I pass through something, maybe lights, maybe the tunnel walls, I don't know. The shimmering lights fade a little bit. They're still dancing in the air, but no longer large and branching out. As my eyes adjust, I see, like right away, I am no longer standing in the dark tunnel beneath the hangar. I have no idea where I am. I'm just somewhere else. I'm terrified. Bet you are, bro. Where the hell am I? The ground I land on looks like hot coals. There are dips and many cliffs breaking into the landscape above. There's a wash of orange-blue overhead in the sky that makes no sense. It is both beautiful and terrifying all at once. A scattering of stars hang overhead, and all they seem to be doing is breathing with a gentle energy, breathing and pulsating with a gentle energy as if they were alive. I can't tell if there are clouds in the sky, but everything about it, from the colors to the trembling horizon, seems to be amorphous. Everything is knitted together, living. I stare a long moment, and I swear I can feel the sky breathing. Far off to my right, I see what looks to be the plume of fire, small yet bright, with no source of fuel. It looks as if the ground itself is creating the flame. Several more of these flames dot the landscape further out. The air is thick and muggy, and then I realize something horrible. I don't know if I'm breathing. Here resembles the air at all. In this place, the one of impossible beauty also has a very stark horror. My mind doesn't know what to do. A wave of nausea overcomes me, and I think I'm about to be sick. I'm not sure if I better fight it or give in to it. The white light has brought me here, to be nowhere to be found. Is anyone even here? Is there to escape? Yell out for help. Take a deep breath, and whatever overgases gases in this place, I belt out as loud as I can. Hello? Hello? Is anybody there? Anyone? I hear a voice in response. Is it a faint, distant? I turn and hear it coming out of the massive crevices along the ground. Inside of that crack, about 10 feet down, a very pale man lies on the ledge. He's human, but he looks close to death. He is in the center of a large pool, and his left leg has been twisted and torn in an unnatural way. As I walk to the edge, he looks messed up. Help me, please, the man says. His eyes are wide, although everything about him speaks to weakness. He is close to death, or insanity, or both. Who are you? What is this place? What is this place? I don't know, but we are outside of our home galaxy, possibly even our universe. Please help. I want to know more, but it seems cruel to steal from what looks like his last breaths just to answer my questions. I'd love to, I respond, but I don't know where the hell I am or how to get back home. The light, he says. It's a doorway. It might even take you back to the facility. Might? Where'd it go? Oh, whoops. They come and go. They'll be back. Now please help me. I desperately want to help, but there's no way I can reach him. His ledge is too far away above the pools of fire. I don't think I can get to you, I say. No, that's not what I meant. What I mean, he replies. His eyes are on the shotgun. I almost forget that I'm still holding. I realize what he wants, and I shake my head. I can't. I say, I can't do that. Please. He pleads. Those things They have the others that came here with me. I got dropped along the way. They'll be back. They'll kill me. That, he says again, indicating the gun, will be quicker, less painful. I can't, I repeat. Please, please. Look at the damn leg. I'm dead anyway. I'm about to refuse him again when I hear an all too familiar static sound out of another crevice behind him. I hear another one of those shrill noises, and I watch as one of the monsters materializes out of the neighboring crevice. 2 more come out. After that, a third, then 5, then 10, and soon I lose count. As that just turns into a flood. And suddenly I understand the man's reasoning. A bullet would be mercy. Oh my god. What the hell is going on? I check the gun and I see that I only have 1 round left. I can use it on this guy, but I may laid it for myself. Beside me, the man pleads again. My god, he says. A waver of lunacy in his voice pleads. Oh my god, these questions. I mean, what? What? How can these questions? How can they ask you these questions? It's horrible. Shoot him, don't shoot him. These are life and death questions. 1 bullet left. I don't know what to do. Yeah, I really don't know. I could shoot him. Yeah, be less painful, but he's gonna be dead anyway, so what's the point of wasting my bullet? So in a logical sense, I wouldn't shoot him. But in like a kind sense, I would shoot him. God, I know I'm gonna need it. I know I'm gonna need that last bullet because I'm gonna somehow get back into the tunnel, and then Barksdale's gonna show up, and then he's gonna be holding his rifle, and I'm gonna get 1 chance to kill him, right? I'm not gonna shoot him, just in case that happens, and I can actually, like, save whatever's going on. You did not shoot the man. I'm so sorry, I say I can't. What I don't tell him is that I'm in a situation where I have to keep this 1 bullet. I can't waste it on him. He whimpers a bit. I look away, unable to see the misery on his face. Behind me, I hear a mix between a scream mixed with the high-pitched noises of the army creatures. The volume rises as it lets out cry after cry. I clench my teeth as the torture continues. Then suddenly his voice is silenced and only the sick, static sound remains. That's when I see the shimmers wavering to my right in the direction I originally came from. I look back to the monsters and see that they have now noticed me. Some of them begin floating up on the walls of the crevice. There are less than 10 feet separating us. The shimmers of white light are within arm's reach, its movements reminding me of a fish in an aquarium. I reach out and I feel myself accepted by them again. I feel the sensation of wind and wait for the feeling of being pushed out, back to the tunnel of the facility. It doesn't come this time. This time I feel like something else. I feel a tugging sensation that wants to drag me in all directions at once. As the world goes dark, I realize I am somewhere else. This is not the darkness of the tunnel. This is the darkness of a total void. Well, this is not good. What is going on? I'm so confused. This is going to be like the longest episode ever. Oh, there's total darkness around me, everywhere. Nothing. Nothingness. I feel nothing under my feet. Nothing to my sides. I can't touch or sense anything at all. I don't even know which way is up or down. It is as though all that exists. It is as though I am all that exists as I remain here. I just hear silence. Not even the sound of my heartbeat. The blackness is so deep that I feel I can't distinguish between my thoughts and what is real. I hear the screaming, but I can't tell if it's someone else or my mind screaming to fill this void. Try to move. I try to kick and move my arms, but it's not working. But it's not clear in what way it's not working. My limbs are not moving, or have they gone numb? It's impossible to tell. My body has just become absent of all sensations. I assume this is the place Strychnine refers to. The place between dimensions. This darkness could consume me if it wanted to. I try to will myself out of it. Oh my god. Or to have the shimmering light spit me out, but it isn't happening. At this point, my mind starts to hallucinate, or at least I think it does. Are they visions? My mind playing tricks on me? I can't tell. All I can do is watch. I see the logging site. There is an image of Tony's lifeless body after I pulled it from under the dozer. I see myself talking to Dennis, and then he looks distraught, as I tell him that Tony is gone. Then, the scene rearranges itself, and I'm standing between Dennis and Marcus's gun. It changes again. The shape of Marcus's body appears in front of me, half devoured, a bullet through his head. In my mind, I am sobbing at it. I shoot off Dennis's hand, trying to convince myself that it was the only thing to save him, but he'll never forgive me. I try to let out a scream as Amy and I watch Dennis get blown apart by Barksdale's rifle, but there is no sound. And just as I feel like I can't take it anymore, I see a man, in that strange world, begging for death. I watch as he's distorted and torn by those beasts. All of these things are floating in my mind, and it feels like my brain is vomiting. Yet, in the midst of it all, I see what's really important. The switch. In my mind's eye, I see the glowing light in the tunnel, the one far ahead, small and distant. Try to focus on it. I try to focus my mind on the tunnel and the image of that flickering light, with a mental effort so strong that it's nearly a physical motion. I make myself envision that little light in the tunnel as if it was right here in front of me. With that, I feel the wind again. The light breeze seems to come from everywhere, and then with the relief, I can only imagine what feels like death. I move forward. What the hell is going on? I'm back in the tunnel. Hey, I'm back in the tunnel. Let's go. Yeah. I'm ejected from the void and I'm suddenly standing in the tunnel again. I let out a wail of triumph that turns into a bout of weeping. The weeping only intensifies as I see the light up ahead. A blue flickering light. So, somewhere behind me, I hear a crackling noise. I think of Amy down by that way by the elevator. Have they reached her? There's no way I can find out. Now, I have to keep on with my plan. Besides, if it works, we're all gone anyway. I feel like I can listen to get a better read on where they are, or I can just make a break for it. I'm running to the blue light. This is it. Final stretch, baby. I don't even bother looking back. There's no time. Instead, I run with all my might straight ahead, my focus on the little blue light ahead of me. As I run, I see a different light, a white one flickering my peripheral vision. It's another one of those shimmers. I go to another world. It seems that they are appearing and disappearing more frequently now. Strychnine was right. These things could be on the surface soon, unleashing more monsters. This thought makes me refocus on the blue light. The man-made light, the switch. The blue light gets closer, and as it does, I make out a square shape around it. This has to be it. The familiar static scream of the monsters is much closer now. I have to be quick. I grip the gun tightly, knowing that I have one bullet remaining. The bullet that the man in the other world had wanted me to use at the end of his rifle. I run ahead into the darkness, my eyes locked on the switch that I assume is going to kill not only the creatures but myself as well. As I approach, I see the lever. It's covered by the glass blocks that I will need to break. The blue light is directly beneath it, highlighting the series of tubes and wires that snake the inner workings of the device. In the middle is blackness, not like the darkly colored part of the machine, but just a hole in reality. It looks like some sort of illusion. All the time I can hear the static of the creatures coming up and dangerously close now. I have no idea how much time I have. Oh my god. I don't know, do I turn around and defend? Do I smash the glass? I'm smashing the glass, I'm just going for it, this is it. I draw back the stock of the gun, I smash the glass box that houses the lever. The glass is shattering like music to my ears. I reach out for the lever, my hand grasping it. Without warning, I feel immense pain through my body as it feels like the fire racing down my back, causing me to fall to one knee in agony. There's only one of them that I can see. It blasts horrible static noise at me as I ready my gun. One bullet left. I'm very glad I didn't put the poor man down. Yep, that's what I'm saying. In the other place out of his misery. I take aim and fire, my accuracy rewarded with a spew of white gas from the creature's core. backs away. In defense or annoyance, I'm not sure. I start to turn back to the switch when I hear a sound of a creature gliding up behind me. Its tentacles melt into me as I scream. I can't help it. I sound like a wild animal. I try to fend them off or go broke. At least just focus on the lever. Spring for the lever. Creatures be damned. I put all my strength into my legs, and the movement of the monster in front of me draws me back into an eel-like arms and grabs me. I pivot backwards. My back strikes the machine, sending agony rocketing through my body. I'm so thankful I broke the glass before this moment, before the coming violence. I stretch out and grab the lever. With this one last desperate scream that shreds my voice, I jam it down. The tunnel is suddenly filled with a flash of intense darkness, and it expands from the switch, swallowing the matter around it. At first, I'm not sure if this is the end of me. I expect the darkness to consume me, followed by death, but then another shimmer of dancing white light appears next to me. There are more of those streams of light, rips in space, like the ones that previously sent me into another ungodly world and the void. With nothing else to do but die, I try to escape the shimmer. When the stream of light envelopes me, the expanding darkness of the switch is gone, and I feel a huge push. Where the hell am I now? Oh my god, I've been talking for like an hour and a half straight. My body feels stretched, collapsing, like I'm falling in all directions at once. The world goes white, and then there are pinpoints of stars everywhere. One of them breezes directly by my right, and I see something that looks like a spiral galaxy distort in its folds. To my right, I see an endless stretch of stars and gas clouds, forming some galactic architecture. But beyond these immeasurable beauty, I notice something. I am seeing the same star patterns over and over again. They are repeating like reflections in an endless mirror. Are these different versions of the same galaxies, the same realities? To my left, I see a calm blue world that I can barely make out. Trees, familiar Kentucky trees that have been around me for the past few weeks. To my right, I see a copy of an orange world, where there are trees as well, but something is strange, disturbing. As I zoom by, I'm not so sure how much control I have in this neutral place. But if I can try and direct myself, it's worth trying. Let's go to the blue world. It's familiar. Besides, I head to the blue world. I try to focus my mind on heading towards the blue world, not knowing what to expect. My breath fails me for a moment. Everything is dark, peaceful, and nothing hurts. Continue? What? I can't go for much longer. My voice hurts. Am I at the logging site? With breath back inside my body, I gasp and open my arms. I'm back at the logging site, but how? I'm not sure. Did these shimmers react with the explosion of the switch? Some other accident? I have no idea. I sit up, and straight away I become instantly dizzy. Amy, I say? There's no other reason to think that she survived whatever happened in that tunnel, but there's some sort of certainty that gets me to my feet. I wonder if I am somehow back in time, before we found the facility. What happens next makes me realize that can't be true. As I start walking, I feel a tremor in the ground. Somewhere off in the distance, I hear a metallic groan. The buried facility is being ripped apart by the ground by the evacuation of the switch. The trees are splintering and falling to the east, and I can see them going down like abstract dominoes. There's no way Barksdale survived. Good riddance. I started to walk the opposite direction of the fallen trees when I hear a scream. A woman scream. I turn back and see a stumbling figure come out of the forest. It's Amy. She looks like a ghost. How is she here? Did she fall into one of the shivers as well? I decided I don't care, and run to her. I throw my arms under her armpit to hook her to me as we head back to the logging site. Are you okay? I asked. Amy could only nod through her tears. I look to the area where the facility tore the woods apart, and I see a large plume of smoke rising into the air. We've made it out of the facility alive, and that, I suppose, is the most important thing. That's when I look up and notice the sky. Continue. The sky is beautiful and familiar, unobstructed by the trees that have been standing several minutes ago. I exhale and my body starts to relax. It's finally over. I'm not sure how long it will take me to get back to the semblance of my life. But I know for one thing for sure. Any day above ground is going to be a good day. The end. Click. tough it out. You and 36% of players decided to take the painkillers. Who survives? You and 67% of players decided to save Amy instead of Dennis. You and 70% of players did not kill the man who asked for death. You and 83% of players headed towards the blue world and went home. See, that's interesting. Only 36% of people took the painkillers. To me, that seemed like a no-brainer, but like, maybe to other people it didn't. Huh. Made the majority on the rest of them. Okay. The end. And that's all the beta versions. If you guys want to check out their news later, I'll let you do that. So, oh my god, I believe this is the first series that I have completed on my channel. I feel kind of accomplished. I have been talking for an hour and a half straight. My throat is killing me. I've had no water this entire time. I'm gonna go die after this. But, my god, I am so sorry if the audio of my voice was bad. I just realized I have a fan in the background that's been going for an hour and a half. I'm such an idiot sometimes. My bad, but if that is really distracting, I am very sorry. Oh my gosh. All I can say is thank you guys for like watching. I mean, I'm gonna do my actual outro, but thank you guys so much for watching this video. It does mean a lot to me that we actually finished a series. It's blows my mind. I loved this game. I love this game. If you guys, I think it's like $3 or $5, or it's probably $3 the last time I looked, buy this game. You can play it on your own channels. You can play it in your free time. Play it at school for all I care. It gives you choices, very hard choices, that dictate your way through the game. And that's pretty impressive. For a game that's only cost a couple of dollars to go this in depth with this much writing, the people who made this really spent their time on it, and I do appreciate that. So please check out the game for yourselves. Please play it for yourselves. Tell me how the game is going for you down in the description. Tell me if you would have done something differently down in the comments. What am I talking about? Description in the comments. And as for now, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will see all of you guys in the next video. Bye-bye! I seriously might die. Why did I not drink water?